Well, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the Space Coast Rocket, and we're live here tonight at 6 o'clock, continuing our one-on-one candidate series. Tonight we have Patric McNally with us, who's a candidate for seat 2 for Palm Bay. How you doing, Patric?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here, excited for the opportunity to talk to some people, and ready to get started.
That's awesome. So this is an opportunity we're extending to every single candidate that's going to be on the ballot here in August, because there's 3 people running for this particular seat. In the city of Palm Bay, there will be a primary, so that's why there's this particular seat will be on the ballot for August. It's usually the top 2 people that perform in this race will go to the general election, unless by some chance someone got 50% plus 1. Then they would win the race outright. But again, this is open to every candidate that's running throughout the county that's going to be on the August ballot. And if you haven't gotten an email from us, send us a message and we'll extend this opportunity to you. The interviews last about 30 minutes, give or take, depending on how long the candidate wants to take. This is their opportunity to plead their case to the voters. So we have some setup questions that all the candidates receive ahead of time, but also if anyone in the comments wants to ask a question, the candidate will have an opportunity to answer those questions as well. So with that, we'll just jump right into it. And Patric, just go ahead and introduce yourself to us and give us a brief background about yourself.
Yeah, so name is Patric McNally. Lived here in Brevard County for a majority of my life. When I was young, my father and mom moved us down here for new opportunities. So lived in Melbourne for a little bit, maybe until I was in first grade, and then moved on to Palm Bay, where went to all the local schools, West Side, Southwest. Graduated from Bayside High. Played football at Bayside High. Actually coach there currently, among other schools in the local area. Went to UCF, got my bachelor's degree in marketing. Did a side program for professional selling that really helped my career go forward. Just completed my MBA at FGCU, so very valuable experience for myself, and very fortunate that I was able to do it. My job currently is I'm an outside salesman for an interconnect company in Melbourne. I travel around the entire state. I cover the entire state for all the products for my company, Winchester Interconnect. Mainly deal in the aerospace and defense market, so it can get challenging at sometimes, but it's definitely keeps you young, keeps you happy, right? And have a lot of friends and family here. I grew up in Bayside Lakes, right across the street from Bayside High. My mom moved down here probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Brothers, nieces, nephews, friends. It's a lot of connection, a lot of stuff here to love from that side. Very energetic, very positive guy. Try to always look for the optimistic approach. Never really try to look at the negative. I think it's kind of a waste of time. Finally, I'm very strong in my faith. I'm a Christian. One of the favorite lines that I like is Jeremiah 29:11. It's for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. So it's a little bit about myself.
That's awesome. And we already got questions rolling in. This is clearly one of the most important questions to the voters right now. They want to know, do you prefer the Big Mac or the Whopper? Are you a McDonald's man or the Burger King man?
It's a tough one. I tell you what, I can appreciate a Big Mac, but I actually worked for Burger King when I was just out of high school and was in Florida. Fun fact, I actually can make a Whopper in 14 seconds. There was actually a competition at Burger King to do it, and unfortunately I lost because I missed the ketchup, and apparently that's a very important thing. So, but I'm gonna have to go with the Big Mac. I think that's more best bang for the buck.
Well, if you have a campaign cookout, we're gonna see if you can get that time down to 13 seconds.
There you go. I can do it. I'll start brushing up my skills.
All right, well, the next question is the easy one. What motivated you to run for Palm Bay City Council?
To be completely honest with you, Robert, what motivated me to run first and foremost is my family, my friends. I think that their well-being and the city is very important to myself. Another one is I have a very deep passion for Palm Bay. I love the city. It's a part of me. It helped me be who I am, to grow, right? I don't think I would be who I am today without the trials and tribulations I've gone through in this city, right? I'm also very motivated to give the voice back to the people. I think for too long, leadership has lost sight of that. And I think it's time for the people to know that their voice is heard, that they make the decisions. I don't. The city council doesn't. They do. And that's the motivation. And I think I can bring that back to the council. And then it's a tough part, but I think our leadership has been marred with investigations and arrests and stuff like that. It just doesn't bode well for our leadership and the reflection of our city, right? We promote ourselves as such a great city, and we are, but our leadership needs to hold that same testament. So, and finally, I just really want to reestablish the faith in local leadership. I think for too long, people don't think that leaders here have the best interest in heart, and I do. It's for the people all the way. They're the decision makers. I just, vote on how they want.
Fair enough. So what are your top 3 issues that you feel are facing the city, and how do you plan on addressing those?
So, I think the biggest issue, first and foremost, everyone thinks about is infrastructure. I think with how popular we have been and how much we have grown, right, our infrastructure unfortunately haven't kept up. I firmly believe that's because the city just lacks a little bit of a vision. I think I understand there's things in way for roads, like, you have impact fees and stuff like that can help the situation. But you know what? I personally feel a way to address it is that if the developers want to come here and they want to grow our city and make us even better, they should sign up for approving our roads, whether it's widening. If they want to add 1,000 houses to a road, average 2 cars a house, and only leave it on a 2-lane road, that's not fair. They should be signed up and held to the fire to be able to help that growth and that support. If they want to come here, they got to have skin in the game, just like everybody else. The next thing.
Before you jump onto the next one, there was a comment that came in that it's a question that kind of aligns with what you're talking about there. And that's from Kimmy Evers. She says, how would you handle all the requests from developers to rezone from single family parcels to multifamily high density, especially in the middle of single family neighborhoods?
Yeah, I'm very passionate about that. I don't think it's fair to have these single family neighborhoods and then suddenly a random apartment complex props up, or a random 1,000 home development comes in that just kind of ruins the dynamic. I don't think it's fair. There's plenty of space in here that developers can go to. And so as long as their vision aligns with what Palm Bay wants and what the people want, and they have the skin in the game to help our infrastructure as they grow us, I think it's fair to have them come on that land. Anything that's kind of in that single family, I don't think it's fair. There's plenty of area in the scatter plots for the single homes to go in communities. We don't need those high density townhome apartments. I think that's kind of what has hurt Palm Bay a little bit. We need to have sensible growth.
So that was their first one, and you got 2 more, your other 2 topics.
The second one is emergency services, right? So police officers, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, and the list goes on. They risk their lives every day. They try to make our lives better. And I think we are always in debt to them. We can always do more for them. And it's whether it's through investments through the budget, whether it's grants and subsidies from the state, we have to have a proactive approach with them. I think it's very disheartening when you see some of these Frankenstein vehicles out here of equipment that they're trying to piece together because they don't have the funding and the investment from the city to really get new things, get proper equipment to help us citizens, right? We depend on them so much. And, something I'm very passionate about, especially with the older population we have here in Palm Bay, we need to protect them. And we can do so much more for our emergency services. There's this unlimited supply of help that needs to come their way. The final one I'm very, very passionate about is entertainment. Being in Palm Bay my entire life, I think the most entertainment you have is you drive down a main road and you have every single fast food restaurant known to man. And I think that's the best entertainment we have thus far. And I don't think that's fair. I think we're such a big, vibrant city. We have all these families. Why can't we bring more? Whether it's entertainment that's here one day and gone the next, whether it's a concert or it's a Tough Mudder or a Spartan race, or they did that back in the day in the compound, whether it's things like that, or whether the city helps invest in local eatery areas. Why does downtown Melbourne get a downtown historic district? Why can't Palm Bay start an historic district themselves? We need to give people reason to have fun here, to invest their money here, right? I don't want to go to Orlando. I don't want to go to Melbourne to have a fun time. I want to be here. I live here. My family, my friends are here. Why can't we drive 5 minutes down the road and have some fun? So those are the 3 biggest things I'm passionate about and I'd like to address. And I think, there's a load of ideas and things that can come to that, but we'll get to that in a later date.
Well, if anybody wants some free entertainment, sometimes I go to Rooney's down on Palm Bay Road for karaoke night, and that's I'll be entertained.
I love me a good karaoke night. I'll tell you what, I will scream and sing loud and proud. So maybe that'll be one where my campaign events are. We'll do a karaoke.
What's your go-to karaoke song? I know I caught you off guard.
No, I mean it's funny enough. I think it's a lot of this, a I like a little Backstreet Boys, maybe Party in the USA, stuff like that.
Okay.
It's stupid, and I think it's the funniest thing in the world. But you know what? It gets the crowd going, and that's what it's all about.
All right. Next question is, how will you engage with and listen to the concerns of city residents?
Palm Bay's 130,000 strong, right? We need to get out. Leaders can't just go up there and sit on their council seat and expect the people to come to them. I serve you. You don't serve me. I need to go out there and talk to the constituents. I need to go out there and continue to knock on doors even after an election's won. You need to be out in the field. You need to be able to get people to know that, hey, I'm actively trying to get to know you. I'm actively trying to hear your concerns and know what I can do as a leader myself to make your life better. And I think that's the biggest thing. You need to show genuine concern for people. You need to show people that I care about you. I'm not just there to smile and nod. I'm there to show you that, hey, I want your life to be better. I want it to be easier. And I want to be a part of doing that for you. I'm a people person. I love to hear the stories. I love to hear their perspectives. And I'll be honest, one of the best reasons for running right now that I've come across is that door knocking and getting someone that answers the door when a politician comes, not selling solar, getting the opportunity to talk to them and just hear their experience. I'll tell you what, it's so valuable. And it's an experience you can't pass up.
One of the things that I see often, is once decisions are made and that tax bill hits the voter's mailbox, or any other decisions are made, a lot of times people are like, when did this happen? How did this happen? Why did this happen?
Yep.
The question is, what strategies will you use to increase community involvement in city decisions? Okay.
Well, as people can tell, I'm in the younger generation. So I think first and foremost, our social media game needs to get so much better. I think what the Palm Bay Police Department does is so amazing. They are doing all these fun, interactive videos, showing all this great, stuff and content and information. And it's fun and it's enjoyable to listen to. Why can't local leaders do that? Why can't the city council have a more vibrant social media page? Why can't local leaders be the one up there speaking into a video? I personally feel a lot of people would rather listen to a video. And this is why we're doing an interview and not writing a giant book to publish for the people, right? I think that's huge. I think another thing is, candidates need to continue to get out there in the community, like we just said, schedule town halls, schedule meetings, info sessions to talk to residents, right? We need to hear their concerns. That's what it's all about. It's not about me. It's about them. And overall, we just got to continue to have energy and give off positive vibes in the community that, hey, you can be a part of this. You are a part of our decisions. And once we establish that trust that they are, and that they dictate what the city does, that's when I think engagement will get up. I think that's the first thing we need to do. We need to have a welcoming environment. I think right now we currently don't have that.
Okay. Palm Bay is the largest city, both in population and geographically within Brevard County. And I believe the number is somewhere around, we're only 45% built out, I believe. Okay. So the question is, what is your long-term vision for the city? And that kind of includes, like, do you have any ideas for the compound? What are your ideas for long-term growth? Those types of things.
So I'll address the compound real quick. I lived in Bayside Lakes, right across the street from Bayside High School. I'm very familiar with the compound. I can throw a football down there. At least I think I can. The compound has been an issue for so long, and I understand leadership has come in and talked about it and say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but I think there needs to be some sort of action. The city owns land out there. There's more land that can be bought, and I understand there's some land out there that's up in the air, but we can work towards that. But I think what we need to do is we need to have some skin in the game. We need to build. We need to do something, whether it's a recreational park or whether it's starting plans to do this manufacturing site that I'm very passionate about, because that's the industry I'm in. That's the industry my entire family's in. That we need to have skin in the game. I think once you start building and you have things out there, people will start to deter themselves from going out there, or they'll be out there and they'll have better options, better choices. The compound is used for so many things. People go recreational stuff out there, flying planes, or they drive motorbikes and ATVs and so on and so forth. So maybe we do something that helps them. Maybe we do something that's, say, hey, here's a safer area to do that. Here's a safer place to do that. I don't know how totally that one looks, but it needs to be a conversation with the city. We need to start having some sort of plan to do something. We can't just keep stalling and going from council to council to council as more people are affected. Transitioning to my long-term vision for the city, kind of like you said, we have room to grow, but we need to have sensible growth. We can't just blow up and have all this growth and pack these developments in and do this, do that. We got to have a plan. We got to be able to keep our infrastructure. I think our infrastructure needs to go ahead of our growth of houses or anything like that. You know, my long-term vision for the city is to grow sensibly, but continue to have a leadership aspect and give faith to the citizens that what we're doing to grow the city is right. Let families and kids have fun. We got to keep them in mind, right? We have tons of parks. We have senior centers. We have areas that people can enjoy, right? And just involve in fostering overall an environment in the future that people say to themselves, you know what, I'm from Palm Bay and I'm proud of that. And that's my vision for the future and some of my thoughts on the compound.
That's a very good answer. So I don't like to do things, data is very, very important to me and pretty much everything that I decide to do. And the reason I like data is because I can measure it. So the question is, how will you measure the success and the initiatives and the policies that you produce?
Robert, I can appreciate you liking the data, I think, because it doesn't lie, right? And I think there's a couple ways, right? You can do it the formal way to, whether it's formal, surveying the people, whether it's, sending out emails or surveying people through social media or questionnaires or whatnot, and kind of getting that sample size to kind of feel like, hey, what do you feel about the changes? Do you think they're going good? And you can use that as an indicator to tell whether or not your initiatives and policy are going. But I also believe that people can feel what the environment is, what the overall tone of the city is. And, I'm a very big believer that right now people do not feel too excited about the city, too excited about what we're doing and where we're going. So with that, another indicator for myself is that, once you kind of feel the tone shift and get into favor of happiness and, hey, we're going in the right direction. We have our struggles, we have our adversity, but you know what? We're moving along, we're going in the right direction, giving people belief of that. So, you have the formal way, like I said, and then you have the informal way. That those two ways I think are the best for me to kind of say, hey, I think our initiatives and policies are working. Okay.
Before we went live, we were kind of chatting a little bit, and you told me a little bit about your background and things. Yep. But I want to give you the opportunity to talk to the voters about it. What are your core values, and how do they influence your decision making?
Being a Christian and holding that close to the vest, right? I'm a firm believer that you need to give respect to people. You need to give people an opportunity to be themselves and to voice, what they're passionate about, right? So a big thing is integrity, right? Being trustworthy, being out there, knowing people know that, when I say something, I'm going to do it. Or, it's not all about the talk and it's about the action. The next thing is accountability. Being a football coach, I think it's very big. You got to keep your players accountable to keep the team going. So I think accountability is huge in the fact that leaders want to do things and want to say a lot of things, but we got to follow through. We can't just say it and not do it, because then that loses trust in the people. So that accountability is huge for me. And then the next one is teamwork. Kind of goes back to that sport environment. One councilman can't do it on his own. One mayor can't do it on his own. City manager can't do it on his own. It's a collective approach from everyone in City Hall to everyone in the city, right? Teamwork, having that approach. And that goes back into some of the questions we discussed previously about inviting everyone in, making them engage, be a part of the decision process. And I think the final thing is courage. I think you got to be courageous to put yourself out there and invite scrutiny. You got to be courageous to take a step forward to say, hey, we need to get this done to improve the lives of people. And having that courage is something that has got me through life, through the ups and downs, as I'm sure you've experienced in your own life, how everybody experienced their own life, right? If you can be courageous enough to know that, hey, it's going to be a better tomorrow, everything just falls into place from there. So that's kind of a little bit about myself, my core values.
Okay. A few years back, we used to have a councilman named Jeff Bailey, and he became very well known for pretty much voting no on everything. You could almost guarantee if it involved some kind of funds or anything like that, he was going to vote no. Okay. And when I used to talk to Jeff, I would tell him, it's great that you want to vote no, but if you can't get at least two more councilmen to vote with you, it doesn't mean anything. So the question is, how do you plan to handle conflicts and disagreements with other council members on the dais, and how do you go about influencing them to vote with you?
It goes back to the councilmen and women are just people as well, right? You need to engage to them. You need to create relationships with them outside of City Hall. You need to show that, hey, I have best interest in Palm Bay just like you. So why can't we work together? I don't think it's something where it's my way or the highway. I think it's something that everything's a collaborative approach. Everything can speak about. And at the end of the day, if we are all on the same page as councilmen and councilwomen, that, hey, it's what Palm Bay wants. It's not what I want. It's what Palm Bay wants. That can help a lot of things. I don't like to throw stones. I don't like to talk bad. I'm a firm believer it'll come back to you and even harder. So fostering that relationship that people know that, hey, what I'm telling you into your face is going to be the thing I'm saying about you behind your back as well. You can trust me. And I think if we establish that trust, we establish that relationship as a council, decisions become that much easier. If I'm just a rogue councilman out there, I don't do anything for Palm Bay. I'm hurting us at that point. I need to work collectively. And I think if we can get that sentiment going, we'll be good.
Well, this one's always kind of a tough one for candidates to answer, especially if you're a humble type kind of guy, which you appear to be. But why should voters choose you over the other candidates?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know the other candidates very, very well. I've seen Mr. Felix at council meetings before. I've shooken Mike Hammer's hand a few times, but never really have got an in-depth talk about them. So it's very tough for me to speak on someone else when I don't know them, right? I think that's a very valuable thing that people can have is know someone before you form an opinion.
Right.
So I'm not going to touch too much on that, but I think the reason why I should be chosen over the other candidates is I'm fresh, I'm new, I'm energetic, I'm positive. For too long, we have these people that are just looking at the negative side, the half glass empty side, right? We need a fresh approach. So many times when you talk to the people in the community, they say, you know what, Patrick, I'm going to vote for you because you bring a new perspective. You're fresh blood. You don't have preconceived notions. You don't have things to say, hey, you know what? It's my way or no way. And I think that's what I have over the other candidates. Like I said, I don't know them personally, so I could be totally wrong. But you know what? That's what I believe in myself. I know I can get things done. I have a proven track record in college life and work life. You don't get to places without putting hard work in. And, I'm very proud of my life and very proud of the things I've done. And I think, my ability to connect to voters, my ability to work together as a team, my ability to just overall bring a positive new perspective to the city is what sets me apart from the other candidates.
We got a question coming in, and it's everybody's favorite question. It's about traffic. Everyone loves the traffic in Palm Bay, especially coming down Malabar to 95. And if you live in Bayside Lake, so you know about a little bit of traffic too.
Yep.
This question's from Brittany Ward. She says, some people in our community say that we have traffic problems. I would think most people would say that. What do you think? How would you mitigate those concerns or change the situation?
You know what? My first 2 years in college, I went to Eastern Florida State College. I lived in my dad's house, right? And as I was trying to build my life, and I love coaching football and I love the players, but you know what? When you pull out of that on that Bayside Lakes Boulevard, and you try to go to Eastern Florida and you pass Bayside and then you go down to the local city in that area and go to Eastern Florida, it's as if we slow down to a halt. And we have a major problem all over the city. When I first started working, I had to commute all the way to Melbourne. And you know what? I had to leave 15, 20 minutes earlier than I needed to, just because roads are two-way roads or they're not wide enough or something like that. You know what? We do have a traffic problem, and everybody says it, and everybody is very passionate about it. And I firmly believe we can make people so much happier if we just did something about it. We need to widen roads. Like I said, we need to hold developers accountable for widening roads. We need to work with the county. I understand there's some roads that are county owned. There's some roads that are city owned. We got to be able to work with it, be able to do what we need to do for all those things, right? At the end of the day, I understand there's politics and there's conflicting thought process and ideas, but at the end of the day, we got to do what's right for the people. We got to give them what they want, and it doesn't matter about me. So if it takes a decision to widen a road somewhere, and you know what, and it takes a lot of hard work to get that done, we need to do it. We only have 4 years guaranteed as councilmen and women to do the right thing, and during my time as a councilman, that's going to be a huge focus to get that done across the finish line. We need to do something or have some plan in place that affects the future.
Well, thank you for that question, Brittany. Patrick, thank you for that answer. This is an opportunity that we extend to, like I said at the beginning, to every candidate. This is your opportunity. It's not about us. It's about using our platform to get out to the community so that the people can see who's running for office. And Patrick, I want to thank you for throwing your hat in the ring. A lot of people don't understand how big of a task that is until they have actually done it.
Yes.
Putting yourself out there to be scrutinized by the largest city in the county. So thank you for having the courage to do that. Thank you for wanting to serve the city. And is there anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Last thing I'd like to say is, Robert, first and foremost, thank you for the opportunity. I'm very appreciative of it. I know I came into this game at a time where we needed a leader, and so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to serve the people. I'm excited to give back to the community, right? I'm going to keep stressing it. I'm going to say it to the very end, that I work for you. You don't work for me. I do what's in interest of you, not what's interest of myself. And you know what? If I can keep sight of that as a leader, I think I'm going to do pretty well. If you'd like to join the campaign or help in some way, or even knock on a few doors around your house, reach out to me. Go to my Facebook page. It's called Patric McNally for Palm Bay City Council seat 2. I'm always looking for help, always looking for people who are encouraged about making change, and whatever can be done to help our city needs to be done. So I'm very, very happy to run, very appreciative for the opportunity, and I'm excited to continue to stack these days as we get closer to the election. And the last thing is vote Patrick on August 20th. Patrick
McNally, and feel free to put your links in the comments here so people can find your website or your Facebook or what have you.
I will.
And again, we'll be doing this for every candidate that wants to do it. It's free to everybody. It's open to everybody. And we'll keep scheduling them and keep pushing them out till election day, which is August what?
20th.
20th. Who's counting? Yep. All right. Thanks, Patrick, and thank you guys for taking the time to watch us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.